What's going on, everybody? This is Jay with Living in Arizona, a channel that is dedicated to informing people about their move or their potential move to Arizona. In this video, we're going to go over things to know about Arizona. So, just a quick history on me. I grew up in Arizona from 0 to 20. I left for 15 years, joined the military, and played around in California and Hawaii. And now I'm back here in Arizona at 35. And so, the things to know about Arizona: number one, it can have the hottest place in the nation and the coldest place in the nation in the same day. So, that's kind of weird, right? So, it could be hot in Arizona or in Phoenix, and then it could be cold up in the White Mountains, Show Low, or someplace like that. Isn't that weird? You never would have thought that, but that's an interesting fact that has been true on some dates. It typically can happen in the wintertime, maybe sometimes in the summer, but mostly in the wintertime. You'll see that happen. So, but rarely. Another thing to know is that the saguaro cactus only grows in Arizona. All right. Some things to know about the water crisis or the water drought problem. This tends to be the source of many people's frustration, or not frustration, but hesitation to move to Arizona because they're concerned that there could be a water crisis at some point in time. You ask, depending on who you ask, they'll say, yeah, it's coming in 5 years. And on the other side of the coin, they'll say, we've got enough backup water to last us 100 years. So it just depends on who you ask. But a drought would not be a good thing. We have monsoon season here in Phoenix, which is where I live. Well, I live in the valley, but I actually live in the Southeast Valley. I grew up in the North Valley near Scottsdale. But depending on where you are in the valley, monsoons do come in the months of June, July, and August, right? So moving right along here. The winters do get cold in Phoenix, in my opinion, although this winter was a little bit mild, and the summer was even kind of mild. So wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold this year, but we've had it in years past where it was hot enough where you could crack an egg and cook it on the pavement kind of thing. But we'll see. It just you kind of get that kind of variable. But I think around about Halloween time, it starts to really cool off. First week of November is when you can expect the first real drop off in temperatures. And then it seems like, depending on whether the groundhog sees its shadow or not, winter can end, or the winter temperature can end in March or carry on all the way into May, which is kind of chilly. I mean, I've been in Arizona during an El Nino year where it was cold in late April and May, like really cold. You were wondering when summer was going to finally show up. And then, so that's just interesting stuff to keep in mind about the weather in Arizona. But for the most part, in the summertime, you can almost guarantee it's going to be hot and like a sauna kind of thing. The winter, kind of chilly. You wake up in the morning and see ice on the ground, right? Grass blades with frost on them. Some other things to know about living in Arizona: it does get some of the people from all over the world. But I will say this, or people from all over America do move here. Snowbirds, people from Canada also. But I think Phoenix, or Arizona in general, is some of the most friendly people. It's just got a very good blend of people, and the overall vibe is really friendly. And I've lived in places like Fresno, California, where people are just not friendly. I've lived in some unfriendly places, but Phoenix is definitely up there with the most friendly kind of people. I mean, you could go into a convenience store and just strike up a conversation with someone, a complete stranger, and they'll be friendly to you and not too judgmental. I mean, it's just really easygoing. And whereas some cities might have a little bit of racial tension, you don't typically feel that in Phoenix too much, and that's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because they cleaned up some of the border problems. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was pretty bad in 2007, 2008. But I mean, all people from all walks of life, Mexico, African Americans, uh, white people, Asian people, people from India, people from Arabia. We all get along here, really. I would say everyone just gets along pretty good. They can make friends. So I think making friends in Phoenix is going to be pretty easy compared to most places, believe it or not. It is known also as a party town. I mean, Arizona State was once one of the biggest party schools in all of. I mean, it ranks up there, but it's not just the it's not just the college level. It's like there's a lot to do here, but it seems like one of the biggest things to do is throw a real banging party. I mean, I've been around parties all over the place, and Phoenix seems to throw some of the best parties you'll ever go to. Arizona just throws great parties. I mean, I don't even think they know how good their party scene is until they hear about it. Like, hey, Arizona State, number one party school, this and that. But it's not that they even go out of their way to do it. It's just at the parties you just have a good time, and there's a lot of people, and you're just making a lot of friends, kind of thing. So it should be pretty easy for you to meet people here in Arizona. Uh, as far as cost of living, it seems to be pretty affordable. I mean, the one of the things that brought me back was I got a really nice house for under $300,000. That same house in California or in Hawaii, for example, two really expensive states, but that house would have cost me around about $700,000 thereabouts. So for under $300,000, I got a home that was that price. Elsewhere, $700,000. But it's a pretty nice house. It's got modern amenities, which is really important. It's a smart home, you know. And there's lots of homes just like that all over the valley that are just popping up. I mean, Phoenix is sprawling out. It's not one of those very condensed cities. It's fairly, it's really spread out. Like they just bowl over a couple tumbleweeds, dig a couple ditches, throw up a house. And they do that all over the valley, and it's been going on for decades now. It just keeps sprawling out. They don't keep it condensed. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 50 years, Tucson and Phoenix just kind of merge together and just form this one big giant metropolis kind of thing, right? Then you'd have to wonder, well, how much water do we have to support that, right? Maybe they'll have to do desalination and pump the water up from the Baja, Mexico, or something. I don't know. I mean, if they tap out the Colorado River, where else are they going to get it from? The Salt River can only do so much, right? But anyway, so it is growing and it grows sprawling out. I mean, there was a point in time where Casa Grande was considered really far away. Now, like Phoenix is going to touch Casa Grande. I mean, even where I live out in Santan Valley, Queen Creek used to be way out in Phoenix, Florence, Coolidge, all that. Now it's just about like, it's all kind of connecting. Whereas before it was like there was a lot of desert in between there, maybe some farms and some desert and then, some mountains, but no real housing developments. Now there is. And with that being said, all these like grocery store, these pavilions, they're all like they're brand new and modern. So there's a lot of modern amenities in Phoenix. It's a very modern and new city. That's if you're coming from a place like New York where the infrastructure is old, or Minneapolis or Chicago where the infrastructure is old, coming to Phoenix, you'll have new infrastructure that might be really refreshing for you. Downtown, like Central Valley and West Phoenix, South Central, West, kind of old and outdated. Like around about the Avenues area from, let's say from like 40th Avenue towards Central, from probably Northern or Thunderbird south all the way to South Mountain. It's kind of like old Phoenix. Like Central Phoenix, I haven't really spent too much time down there, but I know it's undergone some renovations, and that's interesting. So I'm going to keep this video short. It's our first video on living in Arizona. We're going to do many different series. We're going to talk about Sedona. We're going to talk about Flagstaff in depth. We're going to talk about Tucson. We're going to talk about places around Phoenix, the pros and cons, the things to do, all over Arizona. So if you have any intentions of moving to Arizona, you probably are going to want to subscribe to this channel and keep up with us, because we're going to be putting out a lot of information, with our main objective being to inform you guys on things that I myself would want to know, and my brother, who's also going to be participating in this channel. He's a real estate agent. I'm not, he is. So we'll see you guys later.